What's going on, guys? I'm back with sort of a special video here. This is something I've had kind of in the works for a while. I started playing Horizon Tour on Forza Horizon 5. It's something I haven't really, I've never really dabbled that much into. I think I might have been invited to a session quite a while ago. But I thought it'd be fun to try to go over every single possible dirt racing scenario that you will encounter in Horizon Tour if you like to play Horizon Tour, and kind of give you what I think the best car you could use for success and to help win and help put your team in a good place. So I kind of decided to do this here. Again, it took quite a while to film, partly because every 2 minutes like the event changes, and so there are some duplicates throughout the time, but there are a lot of different I guess combinations of dirt racing car types and class types and that sort of thing. That combined with just the way people drive in Horizon Tour is it's very disappointing. They race worse than you do in like trials, like especially I guess what you call team killing in a racing game. It's just so bad in this game. Like I've never seen anything like it. It's like if you pass somebody on your team, I've had so many instances, like they want to just put you into the wall, and you actually, in my footage here throughout this video, you might see a couple instances of that, where they will put you in the wall if you pass them. It's like, I'm helping our team, I don't know why you're so mad about, and just the fact that if there is an area in the map where they can wall ride, you better believe your teammate's going to wall ride, especially on like the Caldera Scramble, or the Mulege Town Scramble, whatever it's called. Like people will wall ride the hell out of those courses, no matter what. And it's just very disappointing. So trying to get clean footage was a bit of a hassle at some times, but overall I think I did a pretty good job. And I'm going to just show you the cars that I prefer to use and the ones I decided to use for these events that gave me the most success. And we're kicking things off here with C600 Retro Rally, and the car I decided to use is a 1999 Ford Racing Puma. The tune-made Ford, I'll show it on screen right now. It is called C600 Rally V2. I'll also show the share code. It's a very decent car for this. I honestly thought about using the Ford Escort, but I decided to go with the Puma. And overall, I mean, it does a pretty good job. I did try a couple different configurations. I tried using sport tires, which was a little bit better for the Horizon Baja Scramble, but I decided to give another go with stock tires. That way I could add a little bit more power to it, and it did perform better on the other two races. I believe it was either La Selva Scramble or the River Scramble, one of the two. And I think Mulege was also on that as well. So it worked out pretty well. It is pretty strong performer. Did a good enough job for me anyway, and I was definitely pleased with it. And 2 times I decided to run this with 2 different configs. Nobody on my team had anything close to have anything that compete with me. So I chalk it up as a success. So that is the car I recommend if you want to do Horizon Tour during the C600 Retro Rally event. Next we'll move on to some B700 stuff now. Alright, kicking things off here in the B700 side of things with B700 Classic Rally. The car I decided to use is 1970 Ford GT70. The tune made for it, I will show it on screen right now. It is called B700 Dirt Champ. I'll also show the share code. This is a car that definitely thrives on handling. There was a couple instances there where this thing can get left by faster vehicles if you're on more of a high-speed technical course. But here on like Mangrove Scramble, for example, I should be getting, like this guy behind me definitely has a faster car, but mine handles so much better. I was able to maintain a gap on him. But I remember going to the Tethuacan, or I'm probably completely butchering that, but that race he led almost the entire race. I was able to come back and beat him, but he did beat me on the River Scramble. So this car can be beaten, but just for an overall ease of use, just super easy to use, drives itself pretty much. This is the car I decided to go with. It's just a very composed vehicle. Again, not the fastest accelerating or fastest top speed wise, but it just handles so well. I think it is a very good car to use for this event if you want something that's just pretty easy to obtain, and again, it's just easy to use. So that is my recommendation for B700 Classic Rally. Alright, next we're going to cover the vehicle I use for B700 Anything Goes, B700 Ford, and B700 pickups and 4x4s. And that is my tried and true 1975 Ford Bronco, the tune I used in the video. I will show it on screen right now. It is called Cascada. I'll also show the share code. Originally this was a Rivals build for the Cascada Trail, but it is pretty much just the one I use for almost all dirt racing applications now. I've had many tunes and many different versions. of this particular tune, so this is just the one I've been using, and it seems to fare pretty well. It's a very, very good vehicle for B700. In my opinion, I still think it's the best B700 dirt racer in the game. Very, very good vehicle. You're probably gonna have too many people gonna be able to keep up with you. It's gonna be, it should be a very easy car for you to win in. And even if you're not that experienced of a driver, it just does the job very well. Gets the job done. Very, very fast, and it also handles well. I just like the way having like the open top, the open bed type deal going on with the Bronco. I just think it just handles so well. And especially for that B700 range, I think it's just perfect. It's just easy to get a hold of. You're not really gonna have like too many instances of like understeer or anything like that. Just gonna be a very well managed, well composed vehicle, and I think you'll have a lot of success with it if you decide to use it. The footage I'm showing here is it on the Caldera Scramble, which is probably my favorite dirt track in the game, but it's really tight, really compact, really technical, and that's the way I like these dirt races. So again, this is the one I use for B700 Anything Goes, B700 Ford, and B700 pickups and 4x4s. Next we're going to cover the car I use for B700 Hot Hatch in Horizon Tour Dirt Racing, and that is the 2023 Ford Fiesta ST, the tune made Ford. I'll show it on screen right now. It is called B700 Rally. I'll also show the share code. Now this is pretty much just like a basic dirt racing tune for me. I have the vehicle pretty much as light as I can possibly make it, and still have it fit inside of the tuning window, and of course I have off-road tires. Like if it's B700 or above, I'm going to use off-road tires pretty much every single time if I can for dirt racing in this game, if they're available at least. And this car does a good job. There was a guy on my team with the Renault Clio that had a little bit of speed, but I was again able to kind of outpace him, just do a little bit better with the Fiesta's handling, which is a very, very good vehicle. Normally I would have used the older, the 2014 Ford Fiesta ST, but I wanted to give the 2023 Fiesta go here on dirt racing. I did make a road racing tune for it quite a while ago, but I want to give it a go and see what I can squeeze out of that 3-cylinder EcoBoost, and it worked very well for me. It's a very, very good car, underrated car, and you should be able to get it. I know it was like a reward car, like seasonal reward at some point, and there's probably some on the auction house too if you don't already have one, but shouldn't be too hard to come by. So I think this is a very, very good car for this challenge. If you use it, I think you'll have tons of success with it. It's very, very easy to drive, and it's just satisfying, a little bit different too. It's another reason why I wanted to give it a whirl. Next up, the car I decided to use for B700 Mini is the 1965 Mini Cooper S, the tune made Ford. I'll show it on screen right now. It's called B700 Dirt V2. As always, I will show the share code as well. Now this was a tune I made also during the week I filmed this. There was a seasonal event for B700 Mini Dirt Racing, so it worked out perfectly. I was able to already use an existing tune for the Horizon Tour event, and it works very, very well. It's probably about as good a performance as you can get out of the 65 Mini for B-class dirt racing. It's just a good blend of speed and handling. There's another guy on my team that had the 65 Mini as well. I believe he ended up leaving, but his car may have been a little bit faster than mine, but again, mine handled better. Most of the time I'm going to try to build a handling centered tune, so it worked very well for me. But there are different minis you can use for this event. Like there are quite a few minis you can use, but I think overall the 65 Mini fits the bill rather well, and it's another fun, quick car to use, and you shouldn't have any issues if you decide to use this in Horizon Tour. We're going to keep the train rolling here on the B700 events. I get to use a car that I've recommended a lot and have used a lot in this game. It is the 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10 GSR, and this is the car I use for B700 Evo versus Impreza, or B700 Modern Rally dirt racing. Anytime there's like a Modern Rally or Evo versus Impreza event, whether it's dirt or road, whatever, if this car is available to use, I'm going to use it. It's just a very, very fun car. The tune I'm showing in this video right now, it is called B700 Rally V5. I'll show it on screen right now, as well as the share code. But this is a car that I've always been fond of. It's a shame they discontinued the Lancer, the Evolution, and the Lancer by itself. It's just a shame. It's a very, very attractive car. I think I think a lot of people have like either pretty differing opinions of this car. You either think it's like the most beautiful car I've ever seen, or I think it's ugly. Of course, I think it's a beautiful car. I would pick this over a Subaru Impreza of the time any day of the week. It's just a very, very good looking car, and I've watched a lot of reviews on it, and I've driven a base Lancer before, or not a rally. I've driven just a standard Lancer. It wasn't a Rally Art or an Evo, but it's just a very nice cozy car, and I can imagine the Evolution is a very, very fun machine to drive. So again, I have fond memories of this car, and if it pops up as an option for an event, most of the time I'm going to use it, especially in this game. And it performs very well for this particular event. I didn't have any complaints with it at all. It got the job done. If you use it, I think you will find it to your liking, and you should get quite a bit of success out of this car. We have a few more B700 events to cover here. This one is for B700 Offroad, and the vehicle I decided to use is a 2014 Ford Ranger T6 Rally Raid. And the tune I'm showing off, it is called Dirt/Offroad. I'll pop it on screen right now, as well as the share code. Now this thing has a night and day handling characteristic compared to how it handled in Forza Horizon 4. In Horizon 4 it likes to understeer quite a bit, and it's hard to get the thing to turn well. You gotta do a lot of differential and suspension tuning to get it to handle, or to get it to really turn, especially if it's on like a pavement surface. If you're on like snow or something like that, it can turn pretty well. But in that game it kind of struggled. You had to use a lot of e-brake, I feel like, to get it around a lot of turns. But in this game it handles beautifully. It handles really, really well. I think it's probably a better vehicle in this game just because of how easy it is to drive. And it's plenty fast enough, even though it's kind of a smaller vehicle. I'd say the most popular vehicle you're going to encounter in this is going to be somebody using like the Porsche Macan Rally Raid. Very, very popular vehicle. But the Ford Ranger, again, Ford does not let me down. If there's a Ford eligible, I'm probably going to use it. There are a couple exceptions throughout this video, so if you think I'm just going to use Fords, you're wrong. Just mostly. But I like to squeeze everything I can out of these vehicles I like in real life, and this one is not an exception at all. Very, very good. I got quite a bit out of it. This is one of the... I've made several tunes, I guess, probably for this truck at this point. This one is the best suited for just general driving, and I think it's definitely more centered towards dirt racing. Some other ones have been more centered towards higher speed, cross-country racing, but for dirt racing, this thing gets the job done very, very well for this event, and I think you should give it a go. I was wrong, we don't have a few B700 events left. This is the last one. This one is for B700 Retro Muscle. The car I decided to use is a bit of a sleeper. You wouldn't really expect a whole lot of people to use this for this event, but I did. The 2010 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, the tune I made for it, I'll show it on screen. It is called B700 Dirt Racing. I'll also show the share code. Now this was an event I remember very, very vividly. I had a guy on my team using one of the Holden Commodores, and he was a 10th Prestige guy. He's played this game pretty much his entire life, and he couldn't handle me beating him, so he decided to try to take me out, and it ended up not working out well for him. I still won. It's a perfect example of, oh my gosh, a guy on my team passed me. Let's make sure he gets driven into the wall, because I can't take losing, which is ridiculous. But he did that. I was still able to beat him, no worries, and I think he ended up leaving because he's just a sore loser. And he doesn't really want to win a team event apparently, so it is what it is. Ford Interceptor, squeezed a lot out of this car. Big heavy vehicle, big floaty land barge, I guess is the way to describe it, but it still performed admirably for me, and I enjoyed using it. It's probably my favorite vehicle in the class, just because I think the Crown Victoria, like no joke, I think it's the best car ever made. The reason why it was used for police force and taxis and all that stuff in the United States. Just it's a complete tank. Toughest vehicle ever, and you cannot change your mind about that. I love this thing so much. But that does it for B700 events. Next we'll roll into some A800 events. We're going to kick off those A800 events now with A800 1970s, and the car I decided to use is the same one I used for B700 1970s, and that is a 1970 Ford GT70. There are a lot of 70s there, and the tune I made for it, I'll show it on screen. It is called A800 Rally. We'll also show the share code. Let's pick this. It already had a good baseline to build off of. I pretty much just added power to it. That's pretty much all I had to do to differentiate it from my B700 tune, and it worked pretty well. Caldera Scramble again is what is shown here, and it dominated pretty well. The other people on my team had like Myers, Manx, Forza editions, not entirely, don't remember what else we had, but this thing performed well and it got the job done. It's just a simple, easy car to use for 1970s dirt racing in the 800 category, as well as the B700 category, and if you use it, you should be pretty well off. This is one I decided to use, and it worked well for me. Next up is my choice when it comes to 1980s A-Class dirt racing, and that is one of my favorite cars in the game, one of my favorite cars in real life, the 1987 Ford Sierra Cosworth RS500. The tune I'm showing off, I'll show it on screen right now, is called A800 Rally V3. I'll also show the share code. This was a car, at one point it was my go-to for 800 dirt. I thought it was, at a time, at least in my opinion, the best dirt racer in the game for 800. But it has since been surpassed by a few cars, and definitely some added features and like tuning components have kind of put this thing in the wayside just a little bit. But for this specific combination of dirt racing for 800, 1980s, that sort of thing, I think it does fit the bill well. It's very, very good. I did do some fine tuning to it to make it a little bit better than it was in my initial Horizon Open video showcasing this years ago. I incorporate some things such as anti-lag, and it's a few different handling characteristics. I did a few different things to kind of mess with that, make it handle a little bit better. Speed's probably about on par to that original tune, but it's still very, very good, and there's not going to be many cars that are going to be able to keep up with it. There was a guy on my team using the Abarth 131, and he was definitely able to keep up with me, but I was able to beat him. His car was just, I don't think it handled, it was probably faster than mine, but it didn't handle quite as well, but I was able to get by him and win. But overall, this thing should definitely be a very competitive choice for anybody, no matter your skill level or experience in this game. Very, very easy to drive, especially with this tune. I think you'll get some enjoyment out of it. Very, very fun car. It's going to be one of my favorite cars in this series for sure for the future. I'm sure there's a lot more you can do with it. I've also recommended it for some road racing and like trial videos. I know for sure I have. So, very versatile car, and it definitely does a good job on dirt racing in this event, so I definitely recommend using it. Next up we have A800 2000s, anything goes, and for some reason they skipped 1990s. I've exhausted all efforts to try to find it. I don't think there is an 800 1990s anything goes event in Horizon Tour, so we're going to 2000s here, and the car I decided to use is a 2001 Ford Focus RS WRC, aka the Colin McRae machine. I love this car. I was so excited when they put this in the game. It's one of my favorite rally cars in real life, and it's a pretty good car in this game. It's not quite as good as I initially hoped it was, but it is a very good car nonetheless, and I'm proud to wheel it every time I get the chance to. The tune I use, I'll throw it on screen right now. It is called A800 Rally V4. It definitely gets the job done. Again, I'm showing it on the Caldera Scramble. It was the first race in this series, or in this event, and it performed well. The anti-lag that's built into the car by default definitely helps with keeping the, I guess, momentum and keeping the acceleration up in those lower RPMs. And it's just a very, very fun car. I've adjusted, fine-tuned the suspension pretty well to keep it. It's pretty much good for any surface, any kind of dirt surface in this game. There are some that are really smooth, and then you get some like portions of this track, then like the Montana Trail, it can get very, very rough. And this thing does a pretty good job of keeping the wheels in contact with the road surface, and it does a good job just kind of transferring the bumps appropriately, and it just handles well. And it's pretty good on the pavement sections also, so it's it's a good choice for this event. And again, if you don't, I believe you have to have the Rally Adventure expansion to obtain this car. I believe as soon as you buy that expansion, you get the car by default, I think. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure, but it should be pretty easy to obtain. If you don't have it for whatever reason, I definitely recommend anything in like the Rally Monster category, like the Peugeot 207S. Very good choice as well, but I decided to go with the Focus, and it definitely paid dividends. Next up here for 2010s dirt racing, the vehicle I decided to use, which is my preference, is the 2017 Ford M Sport Fiesta RS. The tune I made for it, I'll show it on screen, is called A800 Rally V7. I've definitely had a lot of revisions done to this tune to kind of get the most out of it that I can. It's a very underrated car in this game. You don't really see it a whole lot when 800 Rally Monsters or something like that is the criteria for like a seasonal event or trial event or whatever. But it's a very, very good choice. In my opinion, it's the best one that I've worked on. I've made a tune for 6 or 7 probably Rally Monsters or so in that 800 range, and this one tends to be the best one for me. I think mainly just due to its handling characteristics. It's not the fastest. I have a few cars that I think are all in that kind of ballpark together, but I think this one kind of tends to stand out, at least for me. And the fact that it's really, really quiet, I use a stock engine on it, and it's just a very quiet car, I feel like, compared to some of the other ones, especially like the Peugeot 207, especially in like third person view. Like if you're not using that car, but somebody else is using it, I think it's so loud. For me, the fact it's being so quiet, it kind of adds to like that sleeper dynamic that it has. Although it really shouldn't be considered a sleeper. I mean, in 2017, the World Rally Championship was won by Sebastian Ogier in this same car, so it shouldn't be a sleeper, but it kind of seems like it is. I mean, a lot of people aren't using it, but that can be to your benefit. You can be the only one that does use it if you have like a Rally Monster VIN and like as a seasonal VIN or whatever, or you can use it here in the 2010s Horizon Tour events and dominate with it. So I think you will find it's a very good car. I think you should get some good use out of it. We move on now to 800 Australia, and also the same car I used for vans and utility, and the car I decided to use for these events here is a 1974 Holden Sandman HQ panel van. The tune made for it, I will show it on the screen right now. It is called 800 Dirt Racing, and of course the share code will follow. It's a very interesting car to use. I mean, a lot of people do a lot of different weird things with this car. I've seen people make really sick drift cars out of it, and I've used it before for road racing myself. I decided to tackle it as a dirt racer, and it definitely proved to be a very valiant competitor. I was going to use the Ford Ute, but it was okay, but I just felt like I got a little bit more out of this panel van, and in fact it's a little bit more unique. It's just a very, very fun car. Originally I ran this, I was going to do the Caldera Scramble because it works really well for that. You wouldn't really expect it to, being that it's a very, very large, long wheelbase vehicle, but it did work really well for the Caldera Scramble. But I had to end up redoing the event because I always had some idiot that was riding the wall the entire time or trying to take me out in addition to that, so it's kind of got old, so I redid it. I believe I did it in the Australia, I don't remember which one I did, but it wasn't, there were two different events. I did one as Vans Utility and ended up redoing it as an Australian race or vice versa, but I did it showing a trail race here. You get the idea though of how it handles. It's a very, very good car, very fast. It's very nimble for how big it is, and it's very, very good vehicle. I think it's going to be a great choice for either Australia, 800 Dirt Racing, or for Vans and Utility. It's a very, very good choice. I definitely recommend it. Now for 800 Classic Muscle, I decided to use a 1965 Ford Mustang GT Coupe. The tune I made for is 800 Dirt Racing. This is one I made a few very small changes to the vehicle compared to what you're actually seeing in the footage here. I didn't end up kind of scaling back on the way I do my anti-roll bar setup, so it does handle a little bit more. It's not going to have the likelihood of kind of get more like the two-wheel action on like a really like heavy turn. So it is going to handle a little bit better than what you're seeing in the footage. But I think that was really the only small change I made to it. It's just a little bit of an anti-roll bar adjustment. I definitely made it better. It's not going to be one you see very often for this event. I did it a few times trying to iron some kinks out, and I did not see a 65 Mustang at all. But if you choose it, I think you will have a pretty good go of it. And I've used this car many times. It's very versatile. I've said that before in some of my past videos. Whether it's dirt racing or road racing for like B and A, very, very good car, very good choice, very underrated choice as well. I think you will enjoy using this car if you decide to. There are going to be many options though. It's not necessarily the best one probably, but in my opinion, it's the one that I just have the most familiarity with, and I was able to squeeze a lot of performance out of it and put down a pretty solid tune that can definitely win in the Horizon Tour. Alright, this next one here is another one of the Big Daddy powerhouses. This vehicle I've used for 800 anything goes, 800 Ford and 800 USA, and that is none other than a 1964 Ford GT40 Mark I. The tune I'm showing off is called Dirt Champ V3. I still think this is the best 800 dirt racer in the game. You could not convince me otherwise. The only I guess if there is a bad thing to this vehicle is that the way I have it geared, just the launch is not going to be particularly great. But I mean, it's not super bad or anything. Other than that though, I mean, it handles flawlessly pretty much for a dirt racing car, and it's plenty fast enough, and it damn sure looks good. It's definitely one of the, even just like the real car, like the heritage of it, it's one of the best road racing cars ever. Granted, like the Mark II is a little bit more successful, but still, the Ford GT40 is a very iconic car, and I love it in this game very much, and I love it in Horizon 4 as well, for 800 road racing and for F1 dirt racing. But in this game, 800 dirt racing, I don't think you can beat it. I'm showing the Horizon Baja Scramble here, It definitely gets the job done. Nobody did anything for me at all, and it's just, if you use it, you'll probably never lose. If you do, it's probably going to be your own fault, because it's not going to be the car's fault. I'm just very, very confident in this tune. It's probably my favorite tune that I've put together in any Forza game, and that's a very strong statement by me. I've put out thousands of tunes, I would say, at this point. This is probably my favorite tune that I've put out, at least for 800 dirt racing, so I definitely recommend using this car for 800. Anything goes, Ford or USA, dirt racing and Horizon Tour, you will not be disappointed. This next one is going to cover 800 heavy hitters. It is for vehicles, I believe, that have to weigh over 5,000 pounds. It might be 4,500 pounds, I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did something a little bit different here that I haven't really done before. Maybe I've done it a couple times, but I'm recommending a DLC car. I hate to do that because a lot of people don't have all the DLC in this game. But this is definitely one I think you can just buy the car individually just for a couple dollars, and it would be a couple dollars well spent. The vehicle I use is 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning Platinum. The tune I made for it is called A800 Offroad V3. It's a very, very good car. I think overall, or a good truck I should say, I think overall for A800 cross country, this is my pick as the best vehicle. And it definitely gets the job done for dirt racing as well, especially throwing in that you have to use a super heavy vehicle such as this. I don't think it really can be competed with. I've had tons of success with it. You can also probably even use this for the 800 Ford or USA event as well, under most circumstances. If there's like a GT40, you might lose. But this thing can definitely compete with the best of them, especially of the heavier variety. I think you will enjoy it if you decide to use it. Although a lot of people give electric vehicles a lot of flack. I mean, honestly, the only thing I don't really like about electric vehicles is just not being able to hear the engine. That's kind of my big thing. You just hear like the battery whine or whatever. But the electric vehicles in this game are all pretty good that I've used. Like this one is amazing. The Extreme E vehicles are amazing. The Ford Mach-E is pretty good as well. So I mean, all the electric vehicles that I've used in this game are very, very good, not disappointing at all. And this one is definitely one you will not be disappointed in yourself if you decide to give it a go. I definitely recommend this for 800 heavy hitters. This next one is my choice for 800 Jeep. I use the 2016 Jeep Trailcat. The tune I made for it is called A800 Dirt Racing. I'll show that on the screen. Now originally I was going to use the CJ5 Renegade, but it's always like some portion of a certain track or a certain turn where the thing wants to just completely flip over. I tried many things. I've tried tuning suspension different. I tried doing different anti-roll bar stuff with it. I tried putting chassis reinforcement, like fatter tires, thicker tires, bigger sidewalls, whatever. And there's always like a couple areas where the vehicle had the propensity to kind of want to flip over, so I decided to just scrap that idea and go with the Trailcat. And it's still a very, very serviceable option, and it should be able to win most Jeep events, I would say. It's a pretty versatile vehicle. No, it's very good for cross-country. I've used it in a cross-country event before in this game, cross-country trial event, I should say. I mean, I've made a video about it, but it's a very solid choice. Even stock, this is one of the few, when it comes to like cross-country racing, if you have to use a stock vehicle, this thing can still compete at like 800 range if you use this thing completely stock. So getting it actually filled all the way to the 800 standard there, it's definitely a very, very good vehicle, and you should not have many shortcomings with it. It should be pretty successful for you. Next up, for 800 Land Rover, I decided to go with the 1972 Land Rover Series 3. The tune I used and I made is called 800 Dirt V2. And I remember way back in my early Forza Horizon Online days, there was on Horizon 4, there was a trial. You had to use B700 Offroad vehicles, and this was always my choice way back then. This was very fun to use, a little bit different. It had the Turbo Rally engine. I did make my own tunes at the time. I could definitely make one better than the one I was using back then. But it was an absolute blast to use. I could decide to kind of recreate that here, add my own touches to it, make it a little bit better, like having a fast recycling transmission and that sort of thing. And it definitely is very fun to use and very solid vehicle. We're on the, I forgot what, the San Juan Scramble, I believe is the footage I'm showing here. And it definitely gets the job done. It's very solid. And this is also one you could use for like the 800 United Kingdom event, which I will have a different car later on. This is one you can keep in mind if you want to use that as well. But it's a very fun vehicle, and I think you would get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's just a very fun, unique vehicle, and it kind of rivals like the newer, like the Velars, and then the newer Land Rovers, newer Range Rovers. And you should get a lot of enjoyment out of using this as well. Now this one here for 800 Rods and Customs, this is not the best vehicle you can use. The best one by far is going to be the Bone Shaker, especially if you know how to tune the thing appropriately. That thing is absolutely unmatched in this category. Nothing's going to be able to come close to it if you are a decent driver and have the right tune on it. I refuse to use that. I think it's borderline unfair. So what I decided to do is try to give it the next best thing. What I decided to use is a 1949 Ford F5 Dually. Very interesting vehicle. They took like an old Ford truck and turned into a rat rod. They pulled a 7.3 liter Power Stroke diesel out of a modern Ford F350 and threw it in this sucker. And of course in the game you can add different components to it and reinforce it and make it more powerful. You can do some engine swaps to it as well, but I decided to keep the stock one. The unique thing about it is it only revs, I get red lines at under 4,000 RPM. That is really low RPM, especially for a race machine. But it kind of adds to the quirkiness and adds to another reason why I like it. Very interesting vehicle, but it's a very fun vehicle as well. Again, it's not quite as good as that Bone Shaker, but it's probably the next best thing. It handles well, a low center of gravity, I guess it's because of how low to the ground it is. But it's very fun to drive, and I think if you were to engine swap it, you could probably get a little bit more performance out of it. But, I mean, I have beaten the Bone Shaker with this. It all kind of depends on the driver you're going against. But this thing is still fun to use if you're kind of like me and don't want to use the Bone Shaker and don't want to incentivize people or entice them to use that. But this is a very interesting, fun vehicle if you want to use one for Rods and Customs. It's not the Bone Shaker. It's probably the next best thing, and it's definitely one I think you should check out. This is a fun class type here, 800 Super Saloons. I decided to go with the 2018 Nissan Sentra Nismo. Very fun car. It's probably my favorite one in the class in this game. I've used it in a few different road racing videos here for trial events. But this thing is very fun for dirt racing as well. Again, my favorite car in the class. I wanted to build a solid dirt racing tune out of it, and it definitely gets the job done pretty easily. It's not really many hang-ups about this car at all. It's very balanced, and I think it's kind of on the smaller side just for some of the Super Saloons. I feel like a lot of them are a little bit bigger than this, especially you get to like more like the wagon style, like the Volvo and there's like a couple Audi like wagons. This one's a little bit smaller, a little bit more nimble, and it definitely gets the job done. I'm actually going to use the third race in this event, the Buell Town Scramble, because I don't think I've really used that. I don't know if I've really shown that track off yet. It is a very common track, which is usually towards the end of these events, but I decided to throw that in. You can get a good idea of how this Sentra performs. It's very fun vehicle. It's definitely one I definitely recommend. You guys should definitely check this out if you do want to do an 800 Super Saloon Horizon Tour event. When it came to the 800 Sport Utility Heroes events in the Horizon Tour, I decided to use the 2018 Mini John Cooper Works Countryman All 4, mainly because it's the smallest vehicle in the class, I'm pretty sure, and because I am a fan of Mini. I believe I made a small differential adjustment to it in the finished product as opposed to what you're seeing here in the footage, just kind of help get it woe down a little bit when I'm off the gas or braking, as the anti-lag helmet to keep the momentum up just a little bit on the car. So I kind of wanted to help adjust that, help get it slowed down. I'm trying to actually I'm kind of trying to brake and slow the car down. So I did make a small differential adjustment from what I can remember. I'm pretty sure I did anyway, but it's still a very competitive vehicle. But this footage was kind of hard to get because man, the guy on my team, there's one guy using the Maserati Levante, and he was decent. He has more playing time than me in this game, but he was literally wall riding almost the entire race. So I was kind of trying to punish him. I tried to catch up to him and wreck him to kind of show my displeasure towards him for wall riding. I was able to stay out in front of him, and I think I even wall rode too, just to kind of prove a point. But I don't like losing to people that kind of try to exploit the game and try to drive like a prick. So I kind of want to throw it out there and make that known. I think he got the message. Nonetheless, though, it's a pretty solid vehicle for this event and for this combination, so you shouldn't have any issues with it if you decide to use it. For 800 United Kingdom, I decided to use yet another Mini. I used a 2012 Mini John Cooper Works GP. I know there was a newer version in the game. I'm pretty sure it's in Horizon 5 as well, the 2021. But I decided to use just the 2012 because I have a little bit of familiarity with it from past games, and it works well. But you can, if you don't like it, you can use one of the aforementioned Minis that I've used before in this video. They're 800, or you can use the Land Rover Series 3. But this is just something different here, different tune I can show you guys, and it got the job done for me. Didn't really have any complaints with it. It's a solid choice and a good contender for 800 United Kingdom events. Next up, we have my choice for 800 Unlimited Off-Road, and this thing can also get the job done on 800 Anything Goes as well a lot of the time, but I decided to just stick with it here for the limited off-road. And it's the 2022 Extreme E number 58 McLaren Racing truck here. This is one driven by Tanner Faust and Emma Gilmore. A very, very fun car. This is my favorite paint scheme by far, because Tanner Faust is like my favorite athlete of all time. I love that guy. But I've showed this vehicle off many times in my Forza Horizon 5 videos. This is the latest and greatest tune that I've worked on. It's called Universal. This one is pretty much the one that's an all-in-one solution for dirt racing and for cross-country racing, and I guess road racing too if you have to use this thing on the road. But it definitely gets the job done in this event. It's very, very fun. It's a lightning fast acceleration, very, very good brakes. It handles extremely well. The only downside to it is going to be top speed, but when it comes to dirt racing, not really going to have that be much of an issue. There's not a whole lot of like super high speed sections in dirt racing, so you shouldn't have any issues with it. Definitely is the best vehicle. The best line of vehicles. All these Extreme E vehicles are like you can tune them the exact same way. They're all just pretty much just different paint schemes, different wraps, whatever. But the Extreme E truck is definitely the best vehicle in this class by far. And this is just my favorite paint scheme. This is the tune I made for this specific one. So use it and dominate these unlimited off-road events. This next one here is the vehicle I use for A800 Upgrade Heroes and A800 Super Hot Hatch. It's a 2017 Ford Focus RS. The tune I made is called 800 Rally V2. This one was another pain in the ass to get footage for, because I couldn't really find any decent people in Super Hot Hatch for whatever reason. Like I couldn't even really find a match, and they kind of take place at a certain time. I'm usually asleep when I work, so I had to pretty much rely on using the Upgrade Heroes event here during that time of the day when they were active. And like this guy on my team, Hold Monaro, drives like a complete prick. Punked me out of the way a couple times. I missed a couple checkpoints. I was able to catch up to him and pass him. But again, it's just holding people. If you remember earlier on when I had the Ford Police Interceptor in that Retro Muscle event, and the guy in the Holden Commodore drove like a complete prick and couldn't handle being passed. And this guy more or less did the exact same thing, but I was able to catch up to him and pass him. It's not the best vehicle in the world. I've never really gotten along with this car really in these Horizon games that it's featured in. That's another reason why I kind of wanted to tackle this and kind of make a good road racing tune out of it. There's something about it. I feel like it has just a weird handling characteristic where it just seems heavier than it really is. I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, I made a pretty decent tune out of it, and it performs admirably for both events. If you can actually find decent people to race with you, it should be competitive for you, and you should be able to win. Pretty much no problem with this, provided your teammates don't try to wreck you and drive you off the track. We're going to kick off the S1 events here with my personal choice for S1 Hoonigan, S1 1980s, and S1 Rally Monsters, and that is a 1986 Hoonigan Ford RS200 Evolution. The tune I'm showing off in this video is called Dirt Hero V2. I'll also show the share code. This is definitely my top two of S1 dirt racing cars in the game. Sometimes it's my favorite, sometimes it's not. It really depends on the track or the certain trail race, whichever. But this thing is, sometimes I would use it for anything goes as well. It just kind of, again, it depends on which tracks and stuff are in the event lineup. This thing is very good. It's very powerful. It's very fast. It is a little bit twitchy on the handling side of things, but try to dial that in and make it handle as well as I possibly could. But you definitely need to respect this mean little machine. Again, it's just an absolute beast, and you should definitely use it. You would definitely get some enjoyment out of this one as well. You might need to practice a little bit with this car just to kind of get used to how it handles and everything else that goes with it. But a very, very fast vehicle. I think it's definitely, again, in my top two S1 dirt racing cars, and you would definitely enjoy it. Next up here is my choice for the S1 Volkswagen Beetle event, and that is the 1963 Volkswagen Beetle Forza edition. You can get this either on the auction house for a very, very obscene amount of money, or you can get it by getting 3 stars on every chapter of the Volkswagen story. That's definitely the easiest way to get it. I was going to use the Volkswagen Beetle Rallycross car, but I decided to go with this instead, and it definitely worked out for me. I put rally tires on it, not something I've really done a whole lot in this game, but it works for this vehicle. It does kind of have the propensity to want to roll over a little bit, so I definitely fine-tuned it to get it stable as I possibly could for the 3 races that it will be competing at in the Horizon Tour with it, and it worked out well for me. If you want to give it a go, if you have this vehicle on hand, I definitely recommend it. I think you will not be disappointed, and it's just a very unique vehicle and a very fun, fast one at that. For S1 Dodge versus Chevy, I decided to use a 1999 Dodge Viper GTS ACR. I remember growing up I thought the Dodge Viper was the coolest car ever made, and the Gen 1 Dodge Viper, for my money, is still one of the coolest looking cars ever. And just the fact that I turned into a dirt racing car, which you'd never really think to do before these games necessarily, is just it's kind of cool for me. And I put quite a bit of time and effort into this. I did have to engine swap it. Unfortunately, I don't really like using engine swaps unless I have to, but I did engine swap it. This thing is an absolute beast. So definitely is going to better anything your teammates or the AI brings to the table. Very fun car to use, and it's, I think, the best looking car in the class. It's my favorite car that's eligible as well, and it was an easy choice for me. I have two more to go over with you guys here. This one is for S1 Modern Muscle and S1 Mustang versus Camaro, and the car I used is a 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. The tune made for is called S1 Dirt Racing. It's no brainer, of course, going to use a Ford if I have the chance. And I'm definitely going to pick a Mustang over Camaro, but for Modern Muscle, this thing gets the job done as well. I was going to use the Dark Horse Mustang, but unfortunately I do not have it, so I decided to go with this one, the GT500, since I have it, and I do have some experience with it. I've used it as a dirt racer in Horizon 4 before, not necessarily in this game. I have used it for road racing in this game, but I threw what I could at it and turned it into a dirt racer, and it proved to be pretty well off. I didn't have any issues with it, and I won my event pretty easily, and you should win pretty easily as well if you decide to give this car a go. Last but not least here, I'm going to close things out here with pretty much my go-to for S1 anything goes, and for S1 1990s, and that is my beloved 1994 Ford Supervan 3. Absolutely love this thing. I think overall it's probably still my pick for my favorite and the best S1 dirt racing car in the game. The tune I used in this one was called Dirt Racing V6. I'll show the tune and the share code on the screen per usual. Now I did go back to the Racing V12. Originally when I worked on these tunes years ago for this car for S1 Dirt, I decided to I used the V12, and then I ended up going to the Racing V8, but now I went back to the V12, and it's just a little bit better, a little bit easier to control. I mainly did this just for rivals, and it's stuck, so now it's just going to be for my go-to from now on. I'm going back to the Racing V12. I did have to use lesser brakes, a couple different things here, but overall the thing's absolutely a breeze to use. You'd think it wouldn't handle very well, seeing how it's a van, but it does handle really well for dirt racing, and it's a very versatile car. I've recommended this thing countless times for S1 Dirt Road and A Road, whatever. This thing can definitely pretty much exceed the challenge from almost anything you throw at it. And it's definitely one of my favorite vehicles in real life and in the game, and it has a special place in my heart and always will. That's definitely the last vehicle I'm going to show you guys here. It should complete all of the Horizon Tour dirt racing events. I gave you the car I think you should use if you want to win, and my favorite one for these specific events is a very long video to make. It's going to end up being probably like 45 minutes long roughly. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do this again for like cross country or road. It really just depends. Hopefully I'm going to see how well this video does first before making decisions. Hopefully you guys do give this a go and leave a like on this video if it did help you out. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks again for the support, and I'll see you in whatever videos next.